What's up, guys? My name is KillerB61. Welcome back to Destiny Tracker. Today we are taking a look at the Wrath of the Machine raid. Let's get right into it, starting with the Scout Rifle Chaos Dogma. Although on paper this gun doesn't look great, in reality it is a beast. A member of the High Impact Scout Rifle archetype, think of this weapon as a cockatus of steroids. Boasting a host of impact increasing barrel perks, you're going to be doing maximum damage per shot, and triple tap and triple double are going to help make sure you're shooting for as long as possible. I think small bore is a fine choice in the middle tree in PvP because boosts to stability and range will outweigh the drawback of losing a couple rounds, especially when you'll get those back the first time you activate the signature perks. While for PvE, I'd go with extended mag. Triple double pulls a second round from your reserve every time triple tap procs. So if you play your cards right, you can go a very long time without reloading. These perks have fantastic synergy with the purpose of the weapon as a DPS machine for boss fights, and that utility more than makes up for its overall lack of outstanding stats. One of the best things about this weapon is the ability to kill in 2 headshots and 1 body shot, thanks to the barrel perks that increase impact just enough. That makes it significantly more forgiving than guns in this archetype normally are, and allows this weapon to be considered top tier in my book. Another raid weapon with its perks aimed with laser precision at PvE, the Genesis Chain, is begging to be used as a minion cleanup machine. Focus fire can combine perfectly with high caliber rounds to keep low level enemies flinching, or Hammer Forge can help you put a little extra space between yourself and your victims. Focused Firefly is actually a hilarious perk, allowing Firefly to activate as long as Focus Fire is running. This weapon joins the very small group of fully automatic guns that have Firefly, so I think it deserves a special, if not necessarily competitive, place in late game PvE. Somewhat surprisingly, this weapon is actually very good in PvP too, at least for an AR. The version of Focus Fire it has is slightly different than other ARs, so it boosts the damage a bit less, but also doesn't slow down the rate of fire as much. Thanks to this, it ends up with a very fast 0.83 seconds optimal time to kill, which makes it the only high impact auto rifle I feel like is worth using. Coming from arguably one of the best PvE pulse rifle archetypes in the game, the Steel Medulla solidly competes with no time to explain for the best DPS pulse rifle against bosses. Smooth Ballistics helps to boost its only low base stat, aim assist, and full auto makes sure your rate of fire is always maximized. Hand-laid stock, although it will decrease a bit of range, will keep those burst patterns tight, which is perfect because the signature perk gives you an increased damage on your 4th burst as long as your first 3 hit the target. High recoil direction means that the burst pattern is easy to control, and high mag size and reload speed keeps the damage flowing. Here we come to a weapon that is something of an enigma. Reactive reload is generally considered more useful in PvP, and the fact that it comes with a barrel perk that boosts range and the choice of either hammer forged or reinforced barrels seems to cement the idea that this gun was designed with the Crucible in mind. Despite being a raid weapon, Accurized Ballistics will take away some aim assist, but it will increase the impact and range enough to be very noticeable, especially with how drastic the damage drop off in hand cannons can be. Reactive Reload is fantastic for stringing kills together, and the signature perk increases your agility when it's active, making it easier than ever to find your next target. Hammer Forged is in competition with Reinforced Barrel in the 3rd slot, and you'll have to decide if pushing out the damage drop-off is worth the stability penalty. The recoil direction and aim assist aren't the best for a hand cannon, but they're nowhere near as low as the IS Luna, and the high base range and stability more than make up for it. All in all, I think this gun is to use in casual PvP, but not seriously competitive with the limited perk selection. In PvE, it loses out pretty easily to Fatebringer and other weapons that can roll with explosive perks. Previously, an extremely rare archetype of sniper rifles, Rise of Iron brought us 3 new examples of the very high impact variety. Ex Machina may not have fantastic base stats, but the combination of spray and pray and wait for it may make it a tremendous weapon for doing maximum damage to bosses. If you don't want to blow an exotic slot on Black Spindle, and you haven't been lucky enough to get a casket mag / triple tap sniper rifle from the gunsmith or drops, then this is probably your best choice. Linear Compensator will give a nice bit of bonus damage to each shot, and Quick Draw and Injection Mode can both help with the rather slow handling speeds of the weapon. A member of the much sought after Matador class of shotguns, the Quantoplasm by default should be one of the best options for shotguns in the game. Unfortunately, with the limited perks, the maximum range is below average, and the perks would probably be more appropriate on a faster rate of fire model of shotgun. That said, a run and gun playstyle could work well with this weapon in PvE, if you're careful, but the rate of fire can be detrimental to engaging multiple enemies in quick succession. Thankfully, the special perk of Running Interference, which grants bonus armor when Battle Runner is active, can definitely help you to survive a little longer when charging down your next opponent. Linear Compensator will give you a good boost of range and impact, and Small Bore will help you hit its maximum range, but you won't be competing with well-rolled Matador or Party Crashers anytime soon in PvP. Stuck in an archetype that's basically been an afterthought for fusion rifle users, the Aether Nova is a very fast-charging, high-range fusion rifle that takes a skilled hand to wield. Although it doesn't do enough damage to be good at more than add cleanup in PvE, in close-range Crucible battles it can dominate provided you have the ammo. Needing 6 bolts to kill is a major drawback, however, so anything outside of optimal range is likely going to be a losing engagement. Linear Compensator will help to make the recoil more vertical, which makes tightening the bolt spread easier for any player. Army of 1 and 2 for 1 will help the Lone Wolf player get their melee and grenades back as quickly as possible, which harmonizes with the need to be up and close and personal with this weapon. I would choose Braced Frame in the middle column simply because the range is already quite high and the stability is average, but for those who want the best of both worlds, Small Bore is also a great choice. When I originally reviewed the Zeal Vector, I was not impressed. Stats-wise, it's lacking in most very necessary areas. Range, stability, and aim assist are all poor. With that being said, it does have one thing that not many other sidearms do: the ability to decrease its time to kill with an impact increasing barrel perk. If you use Accurized Ballistics, you can actually drop the optimal time to kill down to about 0.5 seconds. And the body time to kill down to 0.67 seconds. Both of those are top of the line and makes this gun much more attractive than I found it to be previously. As far as perks, Reactive Reload and Quick Reaction are an interesting combination, giving you boosts to both damage and agility when you reload after a kill. In reality, they're pretty niche bonuses, but players who use them correctly will definitely be rewarded. Due to the very low base range, I would stick to the hand-loaded in the middle column, but I know some players love Quick Draw, which is also an option. Overall, I find the perks to be slightly lackluster, even with the barrel mod increasing the impact enough to bring down the time to kill. I'm just not seeing this gun as being a top tier for sidearms, especially with God-rolled Wormwoods around every corner. If you're okay without grenades and horseshoes, cluster bomb, or tracking, then this may be a great launcher for you. The lack of those perks may turn off quite a few people, but the combination of spray and pray and wait for it means you can easily be getting an extra rocket every magazine. Javelin boosts the already high velocity, and the only real drawback stat-wise is the below average blast radius. You can still do worse, however, and the high inventory level means you won't be struggling to carry as many rockets as you need. If you're someone who values quantity of rockets above all else, you might have found your match here. I mostly suggest using this launcher against ads or non-mobile bosses. Simultaneously, one of the most entertaining and infuriating archetypes of machine guns, the lowest impact subclass combines the love of mowing down dozens of enemies at a time with the recoil equivalent of riding a bull. After receiving a small buff a few patches back, these weapons were still feeling a bit unloved, at least until If Materia came along. Linear Compensator makes the recoil almost completely vertical, and Braced Frame helps to keep it under control. Normally Braced Frame would be a drawback on a machine gun, but a high reload speed and interesting perk set guarantees you won't notice it at all. Triple tap and triple double wouldn't be something you would expect to see on a high rate of fire weapon, but the Materia shoots so fast you're bound to get 3 quick headshots almost every time you point it at a target and pull the trigger. Since you get 2 bullets back into the mag every time it activates, think of this weapon as a poor man's super good advice, without it needing the exotic slot. Although it may not be the best in PvP, it absolutely shreds in PvE.
That wraps up the raid weapon guide for today. My name has been KillerB61. You can find me on Twitter at amin_lamkita and here on YouTube at KNK Media. Don't forget to check us out on Friday with the Zer's inventory review. and watch our weekly podcast on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Leave a like on the video to let me know you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already to be a part of the notification crew. Comment on the bottom of this video which weapon you are the most excited for, and I will see you in the next one.